Hi there, I'm Dion Johnson from the Guyana Revenue Authority. This week, we will focus on the TIN application process. What is a TIN? Why is having a TIN important? What are the requirements for applying for an individual TIN for the first time? And what are the requirements for a replacement, name change, or change of address on a TIN? Focus on GRA begins now.
Did you know you can apply for a TIN certificate online? Visit the GRA's e-services platform, complete and submit your application online. Be sure to attach all your supporting documents. After applying, keep an eye on your email. GRA will contact you if additional information is required or when your certificate is ready. When contacted, visit any of the GRA's regional tax office or headquarters and submit the original documents for verification. If you live in a remote area and do not have proof of address, you can request a letter from your neighborhood Democratic Council, while persons residing in Amerindian villages can obtain a letter from the village Tushao. Then visit the GRA's headquarters or regional tax offices to pay the application fee of $1,000 and uplift the TIN certificate. If you're 65 years or older, it is absolutely free. Start online, finish at GRA.
Welcome to another edition of Focus on GRA, a program of information for taxpayer education. A taxpayer identification number, TIN, is a unique computer-generated 9-digit number issued by the GRA. Ms. Tanika Gillis, trainee tax auditor, joins us to provide more details.
A TIN is a taxpayer identification number that is uniquely generated and issued by the Guyana Revenue Authority.
If you are planning to do business in Guyana, you must have a TIN. Ms. Carlita Edwards, group leader, joins us to provide more details.
You may be wondering why having a tax identification number is important. Well, it's important because it allows persons to transact business with various organizations, including government departments, a public authority including GRA, a local authority, a public corporation, or any other law or other state agency, and the central bank.
If you are applying for a TIN for the first time, knowing the requirements will save you time and make the process easier. Ms. Tanika Gillis tells you more.
The requirements for an individual applying for a TIN for the very first time are the complete registration form of identification, that is a passport, a local ID card, or the electronic card along with your proof of address. For individuals residing in outlying areas, a letter from the Tushao can serve as the proof of address. With respect to sole traders, a TIN is not issued. The business will be registered under the individual TIN. The required documents are a form of identification and the certificate of registration. The requirements for a company applying for a TIN for the very first time are the filled and signed organization application form of identification for the directors and company secretary along with their TINs, the certificate of registration, articles of incorporation, and the bylaws. The requirements for a partnership applying for a TIN for the very first time are the filled and signed organization application form of identification for each partner along with their TIN, and the certificate of registration. The cost attached for an individual, company, and partnership TIN is $1,000 and it will be issued the same day.
If you change your address or your name, you must update your taxpayer identification. Keeping your information current ensures accuracy in your records. To do so, you can visit the GRA. Ms. Gillis joins us once more to provide information.
For individuals who required replacement of their TIN certificate, the requirements are a form of identification, and the cost is $2,000. For companies who require a reprint of the TIN certificate, a letter from a director or the company secretary, and the cost is $2,000. For individuals who are desirous to change their address on the TIN certificate, the requirements are complete registration form, a form of identification, and the updated address. For individuals who are conducting a name change, the required documents are a filled and signed application form, the updated form of identification, along with a certificate of marriage, the poll, or the certificate of death. A company that is changing the name or address, the required documents are the filled and signed application form, a form of identification for a director or a company secretary, along with the amendment of certificate of incorporation or the notice of change of address.
If the proof of address is not in the applicant's name, the person whose name appears on it must provide the applicant with a valid form of identification and a completed attestation of address form. The attestation form can be accessed on GRA's website at www.gra.gov.gy or uplifted at GRA's head office or at any of GRA's regional tax offices. It should be noted that the cost of a TIN certificate for a first-time applicant is $1,000. However, if you are 65 years or older, the TIN certificate is free. If applying for a TIN on behalf of someone else, the power of attorney and a valid identification card or passport are required. Additionally, it is important to note that according to Section 60A5 of the Income Tax Act, Chapter 8101, the following persons are exempt from applying for a tax identification number: any person under the age of 15 years, any person specified in Section 13, but only in respect of emolument of persons referred to in that section, temporary residents in Guyana, not in receipt of income where total period of residence in Guyana does not exceed 183 days in a year. A person who satisfies the Revenue Authority that he is not in receipt of income or not required to furnish a return of income under this section. And with that, we've come to the end of another Focus on GRA. To access more information on applying for a TIN, visit the GRA's website at www.gra.gov.gy. You can also send your inquiries via email to grapublicrelations@gmail.com or taxadvisory@gra.gov.gy. And don't forget to follow us on our social media pages for up-to-date tax-related information. This was Focus on GRA. I am Dion Johnson. Thank you for watching.